He is the Dean of Admissions and Financial Aid at Guilford College in North. There's a lot that he's going to be going over, so I'm just going to hand the microphone over to him so he can start the process. This is when we start talking to you about colleges and post-secondary options.
Just one mic.
My first job at a graduate school was the head cross-country coach at a small college in Michigan, and my mom yelled at me for years to develop this thing we call an indoor voice, which I still haven't developed. So I refused to use a microphone. Really pleased to be here tonight, talk a little bit about college. And this is how I want to kick off the evening. Okay, first of all, my name is Andy Strickler again, and I'd like to hear from students or parents, okay, by a show of hands, how many people are excited about this college process? Okay, we got some people. Okay, so if we're not excited, how do we feel about this college application process? Someone start throwing out words and feelings that you're having. Go ahead.
Stressful.
Yes. Anxiety, stress. What else? Intimidated. Overwhelmed.
Somebody said bankrupt over here.
Bankrupt! Trust me, my title is the Dean of Admission and Financial Aid, so yes, I'm used to those conversations too. Okay.
Puzzled.
Puzzled. Fantastic. Okay? I've discovered that these evenings have become one of my favorite aspects of my job. Okay? I have a suit coat with me, and normally I'd be up here in a full suit all buttoned up, and then I realized that this college process, all we really hear about, and I spent last week in Philadelphia visiting high schools, we hear about stress and anxiety and intimidation and being puzzled and overwhelmed. So I'm deliberately not wearing a suit coat. I got my sleeves rolled up. We're going to try to have a little fun tonight. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to take everyone here, we're going to try to let you behind the curtain of the college admission process. Okay? And how are we going to do this? We're going to mix some factual information with some anecdotal information, okay? And when I make fun of myself, which I do with regularity, I'm telling you it's okay to laugh. Okay? Self-deprecating humor is a wonderful skill that you can use the rest of your life. Now, I'm a native of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, okay? And yeah, we got some Philly folks. And by the way, I was up all night last night watching my Eagles smoke the Panthers. And living in North Carolina, when your team beats their team, is great. I had about 8 $10 Starbucks cards waiting on my desk this morning when I got in, because I was betting everybody in the building. It was awesome. Okay, and sorry for beating the Redskins earlier this year. My apologies. The Washington football team. Excuse me. We want to be culturally sensitive, and we are at Guilford. So my point is, I'm from Philadelphia. I drove up here today. I've recruited Chicago. I've recruited Detroit. I've recruited Los Angeles. I've recruited a ton of major metropolitan areas. And the last thing we want anyone to look like when we're done this evening is this. Okay? So we're going to try to stay active. I will hang around afterwards for questions. If you have any questions, I'll be hanging around afterwards. I brought business cards. And please, do not feel like you need to write notes all night long. Okay? I have this presentation. If you take my business card, I can email you a link which will have every slide.
It will also be on our website.
It's also on our website.
We're going to record tonight.
And we're recording. That's why you'll notice my range of motion is limited from about here to all the way over to about here, because I got to stay within the camera sight. Okay? So, how many people, by a show of hands, and I apologize, this picture is a little bit dated, but how many people have a fear that the college admission process is like this? Anyone have that fear? 24 contestants, 23 people die, 1 winner. Okay? I'm here to tell you that the college admission process is not like the Hunger Games. And by the way, yes, I know this picture is from the first movie and I got to update it. I'm working on it. Actually, I should just wait until the 3rd movie comes out in a couple of weeks, right? We'll put that one up there. One of the great things about working at Guilford College is that we're a Quaker institution. Anybody familiar with the Quakers? Okay, we are historically pacifists, which means I can stand here in front of you this evening and promise you a zero-death college application process if you apply to Guilford, guaranteed, okay? But it's not like the Hunger Games. It's not 24 contestants and one winner. And we're going to present a lot of factual information that is going to debunk this fear. This is my favorite part of the presentation. Okay, don't pay attention to the slide just yet. Okay, I'm going to ask one question. Okay, by a show of hands, how many people in this room have heard of Earlham College? Well, you don't count. We have one. Okay, by the way, my all-time record is 7. Okay, the over-under is about 2 or 3. Okay, now why would I bring this up? Because I am a proud 1993 graduate of Earlham College, which happens to be in Richmond, Indiana. Okay, now why did I bring this up? It's very simple. Okay, parents and students, the point of this is to tell you that it is absolutely okay to go to a college that no one has ever heard of, which we just proved. Okay? And follow the logic here. Okay, ready? You can, in fact, go to a college that no one's ever heard of before. B, you can have a great college experience. C, you can get a great education. And then D, most importantly, mom and dad, ready? What 3 words am I going to say next? You can get a job. Okay, do we have a college sweatshirt day here at Lake Braddock?
We just had it on the
Okay.
19th of October.
So, by the way, I'm a graduate of Radnor High School in suburban Philadelphia. And I was the first person from Radnor High School ever to go to Earlham. So you can also be the first person to go to that school. And we had a college sweatshirt day at Radnor High School. So there I am, my senior year, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. And I put my sweatshirt on, and I go walking down the hallways. And by the way, Earlham is spelled E-A-R-L-H-A-M. And people are like, dude, what's this Earl Ham stuff? It's not a college, it's a lunch meat. Okay? So my point is, and now we can pay attention to the slide. When we say this phrase at the top, that there is a college for everyone, we actually mean it. And it's okay to go to a school that no one's ever heard of before. Okay? By the way, Earlham is one of the top 20 schools in the country for producing PhDs. How many people knew that? And yet it's a college that no one has heard of. Okay? So, you can find all different kinds of schools. How many colleges and universities do we have here in the state of Virginia? Someone guess. No, less. The real answer is 4, right? We got UVA, we got Virginia Tech, we got JMU, we got William & Mary, right? That's it. Now, what's the real answer? It's in the 60s, right? 63? A 4-year and 2-year colleges?
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
I can name them, but I can't count them.
When I drove up here today, because I drove up from Greensboro today, I probably drove by 15 or 20 different schools here in the state of Virginia. Okay? How many schools in the state of North Carolina? 2. And it really depends on what color blue you like. Because if you like light blue, there's Chapel Hill, and if you like dark blue, there's Duke. By the way, is anyone a Duke basketball fan? Do not admit that on your application, because I hate Duke. Okay, I grade people down, they get less scholarship dollars. No, I'm kidding. So, when we say there is a college for you, we mean it. This is a serious question. How many colleges and universities do we have here in the United States? Ballpark. How many? 500? Nope, a lot more.
4,000.
More than 1,000.
Someone said 4,000.
4,000's close. It's about 3,500. There are 3,500 different accredited colleges and universities in the United States. And we have some of the possible variations up here. 2-year schools, 4-year schools, in-state, out-of-state, public, private, single-sex, co-ed. By the way, we have 3 single-sex institutions in the state, right? 3? Oh, yeah. I forgot about Mary Baldwin. So 4.
Yeah, VMI.
Oh, VMI.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore. Go ahead.
What's that?
There are 2 all-male schools in the United States. One happens to be here in Virginia. Okay, so single-sex are options. Specialty schools. And then that bottom bullet point, I want to make sure everyone sees that. We're going to talk about this later. But selective versus not very selective institutions. At some point in time, each family makes a decision whether they're going to opt in to a highly selective college environment, or they're going to opt out, or do a little bit of both. Okay? But we're going to talk about this selectivity thing. But, again, when we say there's a college for everyone, we mean it. Even a place like Guilford. Oh, wow. I forgot this slide was next. Okay, I'm going to embarrass myself now. Ready? Parents? Everybody? Does anyone recognize this guy? Okay, what television show was this from? Lost in Space. Now, students, this is an opportunity to laugh. Ready? Parents, what is this guy?
Robot.
He's a robot. Yeah, that's a 1960s version of a television robot. And yes, I did watch this show when I was a child. Okay, and what was the famous line from the robot?
Danger Will Robinson.
Danger Will Robinson. Yeah, you guys should watch. Yeah, I don't even know if it's still on anymore, but really, don't watch it. It's embarrassing, okay? But here's the point. Here is the danger at this point in time. By show of hands, I forgot to ask at the beginning. How many are 10th graders? Do we have any 11th graders in the room? 1? How about any 9th graders? Okay. Here's the problem. Here's the danger. The danger is getting attached to any particular school too early in the college process. Okay? And here's why. If you're in 10th grade, and we'll even talk about an 11th grader here, okay? If you're in 10th grade, it is going to be almost a full 3 years before you set foot on a college campus. If you're an 11th grader, it's almost 2 full years before you set foot on a college campus. And I will challenge everyone in the room. Students, you're thinking about yourself. Parents, I want you to think about your son or daughter. Okay? And I want you to flash back 12 months. Okay, so the sophomores in the room, think about when you were, believe it or not, a freshman. Okay? How many people could say they have not changed at all in the last 12 months? Anyone? You haven't changed at all? Have you gotten taller? My point is, if you think about this period of time in your life, this is a period of rapid growth, physical, mental, emotional. And your needs and your desires for a college experience are going to change. So if you get too attached to any particular school, I have to go to UVA. You're in 10th grade. You may think UVA is great now, but it may not be the perfect place for you 3 years from now when you're actually walking around a college campus. And even if you're an 11th grader, you have 20 months until you're a first year in college. When I applied to colleges, Earlham College was a dead last 7th out of 7. You know why I applied there? One reason. Because my aunt went there and she had them send me some stuff. And I kind of still wanted to get a Christmas present from my aunt, so I decided to be nice to her. I said, all right, I'll apply there. I've never heard of it. And then I used one of those phrases that we're going to talk about later in the evening. Okay, which is, I used the phrase, but I'm never going to go there. Okay, that's a phrase you want to avoid. Okay? And it turns out it was the perfect place for me. I will tell you right now at the age of 43 that if I had it to do over again, I'd still go to Earlham College. I love Guilford. I work there. They pay my bills. It's a wonderful place. But for where I was at age 17, Earlham was perfect. But when I was applying in the fall of my senior year, zero interest. I was like, look, I'm setting up Christmases for the next 3 years. So I'm going to be nice to my aunt. Okay? So do not get attached to any particular school too early in the process. Now is a great time to think about not schools, but think about yourself. What am I going to need in my college experience to help me have a wonderful 4 years? So you want to think about yourself, not institutions at this point in time. So, I think we touched on this earlier on when we first opened. Okay? This phrase at the top, how many are accepted? Because I think there's a little bit of fear, anxiety, stress, intimidation, right, around this whole topic. And every year in May, most of the time in April or May, I'm a little sensitive to this, so I'll be honest. I read somewhere in the American media about a story about a young lady. Is there anyone here named Little Susie? Okay, good. Because I read some story about this young lady. Her name's almost always like Little Susie or Rachel or Mary. And she's got a perfect 4.0 GPA, right? And she's got, unbelievable board scores, has taken every AP class in the world, is president of 3 clubs, helps little old ladies across the street with their groceries, okay, and does tons of community service, applied to 7 colleges, and got into 0. Has anyone heard something similar to that, or do they have that fear that everybody gets rejected? Or am I the only person who thinks that? Be honest. Do we have that fear? Come on, it's okay, you can say it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to break that down. Okay? And we're going to talk about not how many kids get denied and get rejected. We're going to talk about how many kids get accepted to college. And we're going to take the 3,500 colleges and universities in the United States, and we're going to break them into 4 categories, which, if you're really bright, you'll notice there are 4 bullet points on the slide behind me. Okay? Category 1, schools that admit less than 25% of their applicants. Okay? 2, between 25 and 50. 3, between 50 and 75. And then category 4, schools that admit over 75% of their applicants. Okay? How many schools out of those 3,500 live in category 1, admitting less than 25%? I need a guess. 3,500 schools, how many admit less than 25%? Go.
300.
I need more than mumbles. I need numbers. 50. 100. 150. Anything higher?
300.
3?
300.
300. Okay, you want the real answer?
Yeah.
This data is a couple of years old because I haven't had a chance to update it. Oh, you see, that's why I was a runner. I ran cross country because I have no hands. Trust me, brothers will tell you that. Okay, how many schools live in category 1? Here's your list. Right here. 45 schools. Okay? 45. And you've heard of some of these. Ready? How many people have heard of, let's see, oh, there's Harvard University. Has anyone heard of Harvard? How about, let's see, how about Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT? We heard of that one? Okay, but how about some of these others? How many people have heard of, no, Earlham is not on the list. Trust me, because I wouldn't have gone there. Earlham's on the list. How about Jarvis Christian College in Hawkins, Texas? Has anyone heard of that one? Okay, how about this one? College of the Ozarks. Heard of that? Okay, and here's my all-time favorite. And I was first exposed to this school when I was running collegiate cross country. And I was at a race, and I looked over at some dude in the box next to me, and literally I saw it on his singlet, and I was like, no way. How many people have heard of Transylvania University? I mean, there I am. I'm like, some 17-year-old kid. I'm scared of my own shadow. And I'm like, dude, that guy's tough. He's from Transylvania. Wow. Yes, anyone know where Transylvania is?
Pennsylvania.
Kentucky. Yes. Okay. So, 45 schools in Category 1. How many live or belong to Category 4? Over 75%. Anyone have a guess? Hold on a second. Judy, can I borrow you for a second? Just hold this. Here we go.
Don't drop it.
I got another 6 to 8 pages to go. There's your list of schools that admit over 75% of their applicants. Okay? Thanks, Judy. I appreciate it.
Great names on there.
Yeah, exactly. In my career, I've worked at Earlham College in Indiana, Kalamazoo College in Michigan, Beloit College in Wisconsin, Ursinus College outside Philadelphia, and now Guilford in North Carolina. All 5 happen to live inside the top 200 small liberal arts colleges in the United States, according to our favorite publication, U.S. News and World Report, which really we hate, okay? But the lowest acceptance rate that I have ever navigated in my professional career is about 58%. So even the top 200 schools are admitting over half their applicants. At Guilford, an average year for us, 63, 68%. So we're still admitting over half our applicants. So if you walked in the door tonight with this fear in the back of your head that, oh my gosh, I'm going to get rejected everywhere, it's not based in fact. It's based in the American media liking to sell sensationalist stories about, oh my gosh, everybody got rejected. Okay? So there you go. Please leave here tonight knowing many more people get accepted than get rejected. What's that noise?
60 minutes.
Well, it is 60 minutes, but it's a clock. Because here's the bad news. You are already on the clock. This process started the day you set foot inside this building at Lake Braddock. It all counts. Starts in 9th grade. Okay? So we're looking at 9th grade grades, we're looking at 10th grade grades. Someone tell me, what's the most important year in this process? It's written on the slide. Junior year. Why is the junior year most important? Pardon? It's the last full year I get to look at. Okay? So, it's the last chance you have to make one final year-long statement for the college admission process. Now, senior year. When do you apply to college? January? Most of the time, it's now. People are applying in the fall of their senior year. So if you're applying in the fall of your senior year, what do I not have access to? Senior grades. So that's why the 11th grade year is so critical for us. Now, if I can't look at your senior grades, what can I look at from your senior year? Classes. Yes. I have a guy in my office, great guy. He's a Guilford graduate. His name's Kyle Wooden. He used to recruit the state of Virginia for us. And now he recruits the local Greensboro area. Now you got to understand something about Kyle Wooden. He played baseball at Guilford. He was a first baseman. In his senior year, he was Old Dominion Athletic Conference Player of the Year. He's about 6'4", about 235 pounds. He is a monster. And his nickname around the office, I kid you not, is Cupcake. Because he and I absolutely hate what we call the Cupcake senior year. Okay? So one of the ways you can shoot yourself in the foot with this college admission process is have a really good looking curriculum in 9th grade, solid curriculum in 10th grade, solemn curriculum in 11th grade, and then load up 12th grade with all kinds of things like late arrival, early dismissal, basket weaving, underwater firefighting, billiards 1, 2, and 3, and then having your most rigorous class actually being advanced weightlifting. Okay, I can't wait for the day when I see it, because I know I will. I can't wait until I see AP weightlifting on someone's transcript. It's going to happen, because I see transcripts where it's like, beginning, intermediate, advanced weightlifting. It's like, what's the difference? But if that's your most rigorous class, that's not good for your senior year. So your curriculum senior year should look just like the first 3 years, maybe a little bit more rigor. Okay? That is the quickest way to shoot yourself in the foot. Because I look at transcripts all the time. And it doesn't take long to sort of see great, whoa. Are they in class for like 8 minutes a day or something? Not good. Okay? So, you're already on the clock. Okay? 11th grade, most important. And please, whatever you do, do not blow off your senior year. This phrase at the top is probably the most important thing I will say this evening. And it's an attitude, it's a mentality. Okay? That college is a match to be made. It's not a prize to be won. And if you leave here with one thing tonight, that's it right there. Okay? This is about finding a school that's a great match. It's not about an achievement that results in putting a really great sticker on the back window of the car. And there are two words, there are two critical words in the phrase at the bottom. Okay? Can we guess what the two most important words are in that phrase? Admission and graduation. The phrase is, it's not about admission, it's about graduation. And I will ask you to guess, what percent of American college or university students graduate in 4 years? Give me a guess. 25, a little higher. 45. A little lower than 70. 35. It's about 40. 40%. And part of the reason why is we get so wrapped up and jacked up about this admission thing. And we're not worried as much about graduation. And that's why the soul searching you do at the beginning part of this process is absolutely critical. What am I going to need to get the most out of my college experience to support me through this so I can get to the point of graduation? And to tell you a story, late in my junior year of college, I'm the second of 4 boys. Okay, my older brother's 2 years older than I am. My younger brother, 2.5 years younger than I am. My younger brother, late in my junior year of college, had a relapse with leukemia and died the summer between my junior and senior year. And my point is this. At some point in time in college, something bad is going to happen. You're going to hit a roadblock, you're going to hit a stumbling block, and if you don't have the right community around you, you're not going to have the support to navigate these obstacles that are presented along your way. And I happen to be lucky enough, and I don't credit myself. I stumbled into Pick and Earlham College. But I had the right people in the right community around me to help me navigate that critical juncture of my life and graduate. So think about, what am I going to need to get to that point of graduation? That's critical. So, I hear this happens all the time over at Robinson, but I'm contractually obligated to talk about parents, because I know here at Lake Braddock we don't do any of this stuff, right? Okay. And I'll start this off with a story, because I've worked a lot of college fairs, and I can see this coming about 25 to 30 feet away. Okay, and I'm working at the table. I'm behind the table. I got my Guilford banner. I got all my stuff out there. And normally it happens out of my peripheral vision. And I can see it coming. Here comes a parent and the child. And physical proximity is absolutely critical. Because normally the parent is steamrolling up to the table like 100 miles an hour. And the student's kind of hanging a half step back. And you can see that look on their face like, oh gosh, they're going to do it again. And they come steamrolling up to the table. And I know it's coming. And here comes the question. They go, we are interested in learning about your psychology program. And you may notice I'm a little bit of a, I don't know, a little sarcastic at times. So depending on what kind of mood I'm in, I might go right back at the parent and go, who's we, Kimosabi? Okay? Because this is the first opportunity in our sons and daughters' lives to really exert a sense of ownership, assert themselves, and step into a bit of an adult role. Okay? And there are two reasons why this is a great time for the parent to take the half step back and allow the son or daughter to take that half step forward and walk up to the table first. Okay? There are two reasons why. One's holistic, one's practical. The holistic one is when you get to college, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to expect that you can advocate for yourself, that you are going to be an adult. And if you have zero experience asserting and advocating for yourself, how are you going to be able to just immediately do that once you get to school? We are limited by federal law from discussing most everything with parents once you arrive. Grades, disciplinary stuff, you name it. We can't talk about it. I get tons of calls in the fall from parents who have concerns about their son or daughter and their roommate situation. And maybe the roommate got up early and left the light on or played music too loud. I get a phone call and I have to tell them, look, I appreciate your concern. I will reach out to my friends in campus life and have someone look into it, but beyond that, I can't really talk to you about it. This is up to your son or daughter to kind of navigate and problem solve. So that's the holistic reason. Here's the practical reason, which is the one everybody wants to hear. Ready? In the college admission process, it looks better. We love it when the student takes charge. And the student walks up to the table and says, you know what? I'm interested in running cross country at your institution. What could you tell me about the program? Or I'm interested in studying history. What's your history program like? When the student sets up the visit, and believe it or not, we get this every once in a while, when the student actually fills out their own application. Okay? So, we want to try to avoid using we statements. And we want to allow our son or daughter to use I statements. Okay? And kids, this is the first chance in your life where you get to have some kind of ownership over where you live, who you're going to hang out with. I mean, you get to structure your entire lives. So step up. Take ownership of this. It's a wonderful opportunity. I know there's a lot of stress involved, but it can also be kind of fun. Oh, a couple New Yorker comics to illustrate some of the stuff with parents. I had to have this conversation with my mom. It says, don't cry, Mom. Lots of parents have children who didn't get into their first choice college, and they went on to live happy, fulfilled lives. And then this one is also pretty good, which is two parents sitting down with their child saying, we've been thinking a lot about what we want to do with your life. It's funny because it's true. Let's avoid those types of conversations. So, let's get to it here. How many people are interested in learning how colleges actually make admission decisions? How many people are interested? Okay, so let's talk about it. What are we looking for? What is important in the college process? Go ahead, give me stuff. Great. Wow, all right, good, grades. All right, cool. We'll start with that. Grades. What else?
Test scores.
Test scores.
Quality of courses.
Quality of courses. Yes. What else?
Community service.
Community service. Extracurricular activities.
Financial state.
Oh, it could work too. Yeah. I mean, if your grandfather, if there's a dorm on your campus named after your grandfather, that's a pretty good thing. That's all I'm saying. What else? Yes?
Why you want to come there?
Yes. Why you want to come. Demonstrated interest. What else?
Legacy.
Legacy. Yes. Keep going.
Resident, non-resident status.
That can be very important. It's resident, non-resident status. That is becoming increasingly, especially for public institutions, that's a hot topic. about what percentage of your student body should be from your home state. And what percentage. There are state legislators that are trying to legislate percentages. What else?
Passion.
Pardon?
Passion.
Passion. Yes. Anything else?
Leadership.
Leadership. Pardon?
Recommendation.
I couldn't hear that.
Teacher recommendation.
Yes. Oh yeah, teacher recommendations. That's a good one. What else? Essay, demonstrated interest. How about a counselor recommendation? We thinking about that? Yeah, we're going to look at that. Okay. Now, we're going to have some factual information in a second, but I need to tell you where it comes from. Okay? Guilford and almost every college or university in the United States and almost every high school in the United States is a member of an organization called the National Association of College Admission Counseling, NACAC. And every year, NACAC does a survey and asks colleges, what do you think is really important in the college process, or in the college application decision? Okay? And what you're going to see now are the results of the survey. And again, you do not need to scribble this down. I have it in a Word document. If you send me an email, I'm happy to email it right back to you. Okay? We're going to skip the sound effects. Here we go. That is what of considerable importance in the college process. Can we see that? Is there anything there that jumps out at you? It's being good, bad, surprising, what? Anything? What do we think? Yes?
Surprised that class rank is so low.
Mm-hmm.
About halfway down the list.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Everybody's like ours. Different sample
Because one, a lot of schools don't rank anymore. And two, in my particular high school, if you were really smart, you could finagle your GPA by looking at lower quality classes and end up with a really good class rank that may not really indicate the strength of the student. Plus, some schools are more competitive than others. So class rank is less and less important now. What else? Extracurricular activities. Someone tell me, how important are extracurricular activities? Really important or not really important at all?
Yeah, but here the kids are so stressed with extracurricular
That's why I'm here.
that they come home at 6, 7 o'clock and do homework.
There is a lot of,
Put pressure on them.
yeah, there's a lot of attention in the American media, and there's this notion that you have to have an unbelievable extracurricular resume to get into college. Okay? And the point of this slide is to show you factually that's not accurate. Okay? You can look at the top 4 grades in college prep classes. And when we say college prep, we're basically talking about your core subjects: math, science, English, social studies, language. Okay, we're going to look at your core subjects and your grades in there. So getting an A in advanced weightlifting will probably not help you. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this slide more for that, when you had the breakdown with 25%, it takes 25%?
This is everybody.
So this is across
This is
the board.
across the country.
So those schools that only accept 25% or less, that's still...
Yes. I am telling you right now that this is an academic exercise. You look at the top 4. Grades in college prep classes, strength of curriculum, test scores, grades in all courses. And then there's a 20-point drop to essay or writing sample. So this is how you can break this down and look at it. Your top 4, I like to call your objective criteria. Grades in college prep classes, the rigor of your curriculum, test scores, grades in all classes. Everything else, essay, demonstrated interest, class rank, counselor, teacher, subject test scores, AP test score, AP subject test, IB subject test, interview, extracurricular activities, I like to call subjective, or a better way of putting it is a tiebreaker. So this idea that a dynamite extracurricular resume is going to overcome a substandard academic profile, not factually accurate. Yes?
How much of a difference does it make between going to a private high school and a public high school?
Not much. Let me put it this way. I spent last week in Philadelphia visiting high schools across the Philadelphia area. Schools that I have known since I was 15, 16, 17 years old. And I have recruited plenty of areas in the country, and I get to know the private schools and I get to know the public schools. And we know how strong a student is at school X versus school Y because we visit all these schools and we have tons of historical data. As to this student at this GPA level, historically does very well here. If they have this GPA and they don't do well, we know that. So really, every applicant is judged within the context of their high school first, and then the rest of the applicant pool second. So we know what's going on here at Lake Braddock. Yeah.
We have over 120 colleges visiting us just this year. Now, I can tell you there are some of my colleagues in other schools that don't have as many. We're on the same circuit as TJ, Robinson, Langley, McLean. They're coming to visit us. They're leaving either, it's a big joke, they always make the circle of our schools. So Lake Braddock students are sought after.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look on Family Connections, you can see we're winding down now, but I'll be happy to email you the list. And the kids know because I put it outside my room, and there was lots of schools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, question here.
So is that simply reflected in the strength of the curriculum, or is there another?
A lot of times,
look for these schools.
right here, strength of curriculum. We're in the process right now of reworking our rubric for grading applications, and we've worked it out both. Rigor of the curriculum itself, strength of the school. So we're working in both. And most schools, I mean most colleges and universities, they know which schools are really, really good schools. Yeah, so we're looking at both, to be honest with you. Okay? So, again, objective criteria, academic course selection, grades 9, 10, 11, and we can include 12. Okay? Oh, whoa, next bullet point. We got to talk about this. Because we mentioned it. Test scores. How many people have taken an ACT or an SAT? Anyone taken one yet? ACT? 1, 2, a handful? Can I lean on you for a second? How much fun was taken? Which one did you take? The SAT?
I took the SAT my freshman year.
How much fun was it?
That was awful. That was the worst experience I've ever had.
Yes. How many people who haven't taken it are really excited? I can't wait to take the SAT. It's going to be awesome. No one? Why not?
Well, after my year of taking it, they don't have to do the essay anymore. So.
Oh, okay. But how many people are excited about, if we're not excited, let's put it this way. If we're not excited about taking the SAT or the ACT, how do we feel about it? Tell me. Again, let's talk about our feelings. I'm a therapist type. Let's go. How do we feel about it? Be honest. Yes?
Unprepared.
Unprepared. Keep going. Yes?
Nervous.
Nervous. Okay, what else? That's it? Just unprepared and nervous? How many people are scared? How many people are anxious about this test? Okay? So let's talk about the SAT. Let's talk about the ACT real quick. What day of the week is it offered?
Saturday.
Saturday. How early in the morning is it offered?
8 a.m.
Really early. I don't know what time it is, but it's really early. What do you take with you to the SAT? Oh, a pencil. But what kind of pencil? Number 2 pencil. I can't wait to see what happens when someone tries to break into the SAT with the number 1 or number 3 pencil. I mean, that's going to be mass hysteria. I think they have a SWAT team ready to take that person down when it happens. And what do you do with your number 2 pencil on that Saturday morning for 4 hours? Fill in bubbles. Okay? I'm a graduate of Earlham. I have a master's degree from Indiana University. I've worked at all those other places. Okay? You know how many bubble tests I've taken since I finished high school? 0. Okay? So my advice to students is never, ever, ever let a 4-hour time period on a Saturday morning quantify who you are. And if you think about it, let's go back for a second. Grades in college prep classes, 83%. Standardized test scores, 59. There's almost a 25-point gap. There is empirical data right there that says grades are way more important than standardized test scores. And finally, to make the last point on standardized test scores, I need your help. How many people in the room have ever seen, at any time in their life, this? Anyone ever seen that? Or have someone introduce it, hi, Andy Strickler, 770 math, 600, I mean, come on. So, and trust me, you'll run into one person in college who does that. He'll be hanging out in some study hall because he thinks he's got the biggest, baddest test scores in the hall. And he's like, yeah, I got a 1350. I'm pretty good. And then someone else walks in and just smokes them. And then they realize that test scores really don't matter. Okay? So please, don't stress too much. It's like a necessary evil. And the other thing is, there are plenty of schools out there, including Guilford, that do not require the SAT or the ACT as part of their admission process. Okay? We've been test optional for like 15 or 20 years. All you need to do with us is send us a writing portfolio, 2 pieces of writing. 1, we want to be a graded paper from high school with the grades and the comments. And other than that, we don't even know, I don't even care if you even took the SAT. Okay? And there are lots of schools that are like that. Okay?
Even in the Commonwealth.
Even in the Commonwealth. And even outside the Commonwealth, too.
Why do you still have to take them?
Here's the thing. There are enough schools out there. You could craft an entire college application list from schools who don't require the SAT or ACT, and then you never have to take them. You could. Now, you just hope that no school changes their policy in the next 2 years, because then you'd be in a little bit of trouble.
Some tie into scholarship, so that's why.
Yeah, some tie it to scholarship. But I think it's fairtest.org is a website where you can find all kinds of test optional colleges and universities. So,
I will email it to everyone.
great. Okay, more objective criteria, overall performance, senior courses in progress, and then we reach another key breaking point, okay? That last bullet point, which is the volume of applications that an institution receives. Because this is a point in time where we lose all control. And I'll use UVA as a quick example, okay? You may decide that UVA is your perfect school, and that is great. But you have zero control over how many other students in the United States also decided that UVA was their perfect school. Okay? So you have zero control over how many other students are applying to your favorite institution. And this is where you have to make that decision about opting in or out of the highly selective college environment. Okay, a lot of people are going to apply to Harvard every year. I'm sure that was groundbreaking information for everyone in the room, right? We didn't know that. That's why you brought the Dean of Admission from Guilford up here. So, volume of apps that the college receives, also an objective criteria. Subjective criteria, extracurricular activities, okay? Quick note on that, we really want students who have done 2 or 3 things and done them with some real substantive engagement. We're not looking for someone who has a laundry list of 40 things that they've done for 1 year, okay? So find what you love to do and go do it. Don't feel like you have to create a long list for it, okay? Essay, we gotta talk about the essay real quick, okay? Here's what you do with an essay, right? You write it, and you spell check it, and you send it in, right? Wrong. Why not? I thought spell check was like totally perfect and infallible. Why should you just not spell check it and send it in? Please tell me.
It might be the right spelled word with wrong word.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I can't stand the your, there thing. Drives me crazy. Okay, spell check will not pick that up. Here's another example. Ready? I write a lot of emails on a daily basis. And as a result, I try to type fast. And every once in a while, the word as gets an extra S. Okay? You don't want to send that email to the president. Trust me. Okay? So don't rely on spell check. What should you do? You should proofread it. Okay, great. I just proofread it. What else should I do? Have someone else read it. And then the final step, and I tell this to all my first-year students, because I teach a first-year seminar at the college. I'm like, if you really want to make sure it says what you want it to say, print it out and read it aloud to someone else. And then you realize I meant to put, and like, you don't want to use the same word in 3 consecutive sentences. Impress, impress, impress. No. That'll help you pick up on those things, okay? Oh, and the last piece of advice on the essay, okay? And I say this with all due sincerity, okay? Because this happens every year. If you are going to put the name of the college or university in the essay, make sure you send it to the correct school. Because every year, someone screws this up. And I'm going to lay this scenario out for you, okay? Because I'm reading this great essay, and it's awesome. And at the end, the student's like, and that's why I believe I'm a perfect fit for Roanoke College. And the last thing you want is a guy like me agreeing with you. Because if someone writes it, I said, that's why I'm perfect for Roanoke, I'm like, damn straight you are, because you're not coming here. Okay? Every year someone does it. So please, make sure you send the right one to the right school. It's a guarantee. Okay? Finally, recommendations. Do not pick the hardest teacher in the school to write your letter of recommendation. Okay? Pick the one who knows you the best. Okay? And if you have the opportunity and you're visiting and looking at small schools and they offer the chance for an interview, please do it. It's a wonderful way to transition from being a stack of papers to a real person by sitting down with an admission person and talking to us. Things to avoid saying in an interview, because 99.9 times out of 100 it works out for you. If you say something like, tuition's really expensive, I may try to deal some drugs to make some money on the side, do not say that in an admission interview, okay? That's bad. But 99 times out of 100, it is such a positive. Because it allows me to take a stack of papers and really put a face with the name and a conversation and say, wow, that was awesome. So if you're looking at small schools, do it.
What about talking to them when they come to your school?
Do that too. Because that helps with demonstrated interest. Yes?
Has someone actually told you that knowing you? That they're going to feel that?
No, I kind of made that up. But one person said something at one point in time. He's like, he sat in my office and he goes, Andy, I'm not like normal kids. I like carnage. I'm like, really? You're telling me in an admission interview that you like carnage? He's like, yeah, I like carnage and disaster. And I'm like, oh, dude. Not sure I would have led with that. All right. Now we're going to step into a different part of the presentation where I get to make less fun of myself. I need 8 student volunteers from the audience for an admission presentation. Yes, 1, 2 in the back, blue shirt. 3, 4, back row. Yep, come on up. I need 4 more. 5, 6, right there in the gray. 7, come on up. 1 more. 8, right here. Mr. Maryland. Here's the turtle. All right, good kid. See this guy. GPA side out.
We did this freshman year. This was fun.
Read the details on the back. GPA form. Okay. These are our 8 applicants to college this year. How should we line them up? And please, don't say by height. I get that most other places. How should we line them up? Oh, by GPA, yeah. So let's go high GPA to the right, low GPA down here to the left. Let's see. We're testing the math. I keep hearing Lake Braddock is jacked up. Can we do simple math? Oh my God. All right, we got it? All right. Now, on the back, of each of these cards is additional information on each of these applicants. Because what appears to be a very simple process, let's just line them up by GPA, gets really complex really quick. And every one of these scenarios, every one of these details is stuff that happens almost on an annual basis, even at little itty bitty Guilford College. Ready? When I say move up, you're going to go to your right. When I say move down, you're going to go to your left. Are we ready? Okay. If you've taken an exceptionally strong academic program, which would be AP, IB, honors, dual enrollment, move up 4 spaces. This is always the fun part for me after doing this so many times. If your grades increasingly improved over the course of your high school years, move up 2 spaces.
Two people.
2 places. If you direct the choir at your church, move up 1 space. There we go. If your SAT score is in the top 10% of the college's accepted pool, move up 3 spaces.
Can we scoot down?
Yeah, let's slide down this. I want to see people run into a wall. Because you did not give enough time to your teachers and counselors, your letters of recommendation arrived in the admission office after the deadline. Move down 5 spaces.
Is this the you missed?
That's later. You applied to several schools but forgot to change the name in each essay when you applied. Move down 4 spaces. If you had a positive interview while visiting campus, move up 1 space. Ooh, he's just building a lead here. Your SAT score is in the middle 50% of the college's accepted pool. Move up 2 spaces.
Yes. But he moved up and I moved up, so is that
You just got to figure it out. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's like philosophy. There's no right or wrong answer. If you did not write the optional essay, move down 5 spaces. By the way, here's a hint, okay? The word optional actually means required, okay? It's like an SAT test. We're just trying to fool you. So if it says optional, it's really not optional. If you decided not to take a core course as a senior and instead received an early release from school, move down 2 spaces. If you're an Eagle Scout, Gold Award winner, or participated in community service activities, move up 1 space. If you got a D in an academic course at the end of your junior year, move down 3 spaces. If you wrote a letter to the college admission officer and explained the extenuating circumstances surrounding said grade of D, move up 1 space. You have participated in community service activities since 8th grade, move up 1 space. You dropped a course in your senior year without telling your colleges. Move down 2 spaces. If you missed the application deadline, move down 25 spaces. If you plagiarized an American history paper and got caught, sit down. You're out of the competition entirely.
Oh my God.
Can we have a round of applause for our volunteers?
It's famous now?
The point of that exercise is to illustrate that something that appears very simple on the front end gets very difficult and complex on the back end. Because you can't just quantify a student with a 3.5. There's so many other factors that go into that person, that individual in a holistic way. And these factors play out through the college admission process. So, 3 wishes. 1, be honest with yourself. If you're not honest, the only person you're going to hurt is the one staring back at you in the mirror. So be honest. 2nd, stay close to your guidance counselor. Okay? I am an expert on 5 of the 3,500 colleges and universities here in the United States. The guidance office here, no, we had 120. She knows 120 schools. I know 5. I know who I'd turn to. So stay close to your guidance office. Oh, and by the way, how many colleges should we apply to? What's the right number?
7.
6 or 7. How about 10? How about 15? How about 20? Yeah, every year. I run into students who have applied to 10, 15, 20. I once ran into a young lady who applied to 24 colleges and universities. If I run into someone who's applied to more than 12 or 13, guaranteed, my next question is going to be, wow, that's great. Which ones? And I have yet to run into anyone who can actually name all 13. So, point of advice. If you can't remember applying to that school, you probably shouldn't apply there in the first place. And then 2nd, that phrase I started out the evening with, but I'm not going to go there, or I'm never going to go there. We should steer clear of that phrase. And I run into that all the time. I applied here, and I applied there, but I'm not going to go there. I'm never going to go there. All the colleges you apply to should actually be schools you can see yourself attending. So use that as your benchmark and your standard. If you can't see yourself going there, you probably shouldn't apply. Okay? And then finally, visit. Visit the college campuses. How many people have visited a college campus? Show of hands. Oh, a handful. How many people visit on a day other than a Saturday? Okay, good. Okay, because I tell you what, last year my older brother and I, we went to visit a college campus, Louisiana State University, LSU, on a football Saturday. Okay, that's not a good look at what LSU is going to be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so visit during the week. Summary. No matter what your skills, talents, experiences, interests, no matter what, there is a college out there for you. College is a match to be made, not a prize to be won. Most important year is 11th grade. Do your research early, be honest, use the guidance office, and visit. Critical elements, okay? And if you ever get to the point where you feel like it's hopeless, because trust me, my mom and dad got to that point like 8 times, okay? Real life scenario, just when you think it's hopeless. This is a real life story you're about to see. Guilford College, men's basketball, on the road, playing down in Ashland at Randolph-Macon College. Game's in overtime, less than a second to go. Game's tied. Randolph-Macon is on the free throw line, 2 shots to win the game. This is what happened. Come on. Makes the first. Randolph-Macon up 1. here's the best part of the story, is that Greensboro is about 270,000 people, and we have a CBS affiliate right there in Greensboro. So 2 days later, they came out to practice, because this was kind of a big thing. You know how many tries it took that guy to hit that same shot again? 4. On film for CBS. Yeah, and if you want to YouTube that, it's called the greatest basketball shot ever. Okay? Finally, as you finish, oh, by the way, we will have this on our website. We just cranked up a new website, but it'll be here at the Lake Braddock website, ready to go. So if you want to see it, it's right there. And last slide, one more funny to get us out of here. The last thing you want to look like when you finish this college process is this. Thank you guys, you've been great. If you have any questions, I'll hang around. Good luck.